Hi guys, good day. We're back with another episode. My name is Marcel with Break Free, and we have a wonderful case here, Roger. But like, this guy is too much stuff is involved with, so I need to literally read it out of a book to like and say what is all up to. So he's a founder and co-owner of Khoination. He's a DA activist. He's a neighborhood chairperson, security of the Western Cape, secretary of the Western Cape and People, Parks Regional, works for City of Cape Town, councillor of Noma House. So, and before we get into it, we're just going to give you a bit of background of Roger. So, tell us more about yourself.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for Break Free coming out and having a chat with me. It's a long road till here, as you can see. You can say it's a long road to freedom, Nelson Mandela style. Look, I'm from Mitchells Plain originally. Didn't grow up too wealthy or rich. Also had a tough time as most people.
Okay.
I'm so sure that there's a lot of people that didn't have it easy. But yeah, so I worked hard. I started working at 16 years old.
Okay. Was it still in the apartheid years?
Just after apartheid years. Okay. I'm not that old.
I'm just asking because looks can be deceiving, guys.
I'm not that old. Apartheid years was there, obviously. We were in apartheid year, but I was young for that. However, 16-year-old, we started moving past that. I think I was one of the activists in Mitchells Plain fighting against corporal punishment.
Okay.
Yeah, shot with rubber bullets, and there's a lot of guys.
Did they get you, or was it just like
one of my guys got shot with a rubber bullet in front of his head.
No.
And yeah, we were sitting in a Caspers, and there's a lot of things. So it was a long road, when you really struggle. When I say, when you have it luxury, let's put it that way, then a lot of people that have it so easy, they don't know the struggle, so they get things very easy. We as people that really have to work hard because we're struggling, so we really put the work in to get somewhere. Yes. So I'm partially probably one of those guys that had to work really hard to get to where I am today.
You said you worked at 16 years old.
Since 16, yeah. I was actually
that time. How much did you pay?
When I was working with ShopRite, I earned 382 rand a weekend.
Yo.
382 rand, but 382 rand was like 3,000 rand at that time, because I could buy a lot of things.
Okay.
So I could see to a lot of things, but today and then is two different days.
Okay, but when you get to matric, did you get a chance to study?
In actual fact, I never reached my matric.
Okay.
Never reached my matric due to financial circumstances, and obviously circumstances that was around my house, and you get sidetracked with a lot of things.
Yes.
And I ended up not finishing. No. It's not girlfriend. No. It was more. In fact, I was on school. I was a SRC chairperson.
Okay.
And I was the SRC chairperson, not the chairperson for the SRC of the school. And I was also for the forum for Mitchells Plain, where all the chairpersons come together. I was a chairperson in that. So I was more sidetracked into politics.
That time already.
Since then, yeah. So it was more politics than politics. I met Trevor Manuel that time, and Teller that time. All those top guys.
So you say you didn't have a chance to study, but can you give us a little bit of background on the places you did work? How was the experience?
So I worked a lot of places. However, my main focus on work was probably in the hospitality industry, because that was probably the easiest to get in if you didn't have an education like a matric or whatever. So it was easy to get into a restaurant. You say I'm a waiter, you craft there for, I don't know, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock the next morning. That is how it is.
Yo, but that time, I go sit in the restaurants, and sometimes while you sitting there and eat, and you look at the waiters, you can tell out the personal point of view, and obviously the struggle is probably real for that waiters, or they have their own problems, and you know how the pay structure work.
No, at that time it was not pay, it was just on tips. But the tips was really good, obviously, because that time your economy was still good, because people could afford to go and sit in a restaurant. Not like today you have to spend about what, if you're 3 people, you spend about almost 2,000 rand just to sit in a restaurant. That time 2,000 rand was too much to go and sit in a restaurant. You could just sit with $1,000 and still tip the waiter $200-300 and they would be happy.
So what did you do after that, once that phase of your life was finished?
Look, obviously from Mitchell's Plain, I moved into Tableview.
Okay.
There is where the hospitality industry came in. When I started working there, I worked for about 14 years in hospitality, where I was a waiter for about 6 years. The rest of that, owner of a restaurant saw me, and obviously then offered a position for me as a manager for one of their outlets, which then I was then a manager, then moving on from a store manager to a area manager. So that's how it actually grew from point to point. So in Tableview, obviously that's where I was completely isolated on my own, doing my own thing, grinding, working, hustling. The hustle was great. So that's where I built it, and then it started over there. But most of my things that I have, that I'm currently in, is more motivated from how my struggle was in my past.
Yes.
So when you struggling in your past and you're having the way to go work at 16 years old, see to yourself when you're 16, 17, when you get to that point, it's a whole new ball game.
It's too long of a story. We don't have enough minutes to talk about it. But okay, let's put it like this way. In that years where you did work, what was like the worst experience you had where a boss can crap you out for whatever reason you can think of now in your 9 to 5?
In that time, it was not so. I can tell you of an experience that I've witnessed.
Okay.
I know one of the owners of the restaurants. He stood in the kitchen and he said, "If you don't get this food," with a gun in his hand, in the kitchen, and standing there, "If you don't get the food out now, I'm gonna F it up." I was like, "Yeah, you're a guy. How can you speak to the people like that?" That was the worst that I've seen. But the worst that I have encountered on my side is where a boss actually, spoke rude to me, and ended up wanting to treat me like a child. So I said to him, "Brother, I'm not every other child worker that you have here. I have respect for you. You just have to be straightforward, man. Whether they're the boss or not."
That is for me. I also don't like disrespectful, especially. Yeah, we all know you a boss. I'm the employee, and it's sometimes hard actually and sad to see that how they treat people because they have that status already, and now you just working, you go to your job because it's an income, and they know that it's an income for you, but yet they treat you like crap, but they want the best results, which is a bit sad for us now, especially now our economy that we are now in. So that is just my point of view, how I see the work environment. But the other thing is, once you were done with that, what was your break-free point where you started now to get to your non-profitable company?
There come a time in every, I'm not gonna say every man, but I'm gonna say in every person's life, where you start seeing things clearly, more clear than ever.
Okay.
And when you see things like that, you start saying to yourself, "Hey, where are you going to?"
Okay.
And when you start realizing whatever you've been doing hasn't really put you on a direct road to a purpose, and then you start shuffling things around.
Okay.
And I think I started in 2019, just before COVID.
Okay.
Just before COVID, I came to my senses of shuffling things to change so that I can work more towards my heart's desire,
For your purpose.
or my purpose, or my, however you want to put it.
And is that also why you did get involved with the DA, to get more into the community?
Honestly, I'll tell you why I got involved with the DA. The DA wasn't for any other thing, and I've been busy with the community for a long time now. Right? A non-profit I've been running since before 2019, but I've registered in 2021 though. Registering, because I never knew, by then my brain wasn't saying, oh, go and register a non-profit. But however, the purpose for the DA thing was, when you're a non-profit, and I'll call it, even if you don't have if you're not registered, a lot of people that has got soup kitchens,
Yes.
people that work out there, they grind, they're on the ground, people, they are the heart. And to a point, I've realized that, yes, every time you as a normal hard grinder that's on the ground with these people, or with your people, when you do applications, when you want to do something for the community, you know how much red tape there is to actually get
funds
from a government or from a private entity. If you don't have this, you can't get that. If you don't have this, you can't do that. How is to the purpose of the people?
Yes. But isn't that part of the DA's logo or their vision to serve the people?
There's so much controversies around that, where, when Dan Plater was mayor of the Western Cape, then it was a different ball game. Now we have another, what's his name, Georgie, that is now mayor, and he's a different ball game. So when Dan Plater was there, you could see, I'm not gonna discriminate with color or ethnic or groups or whatever, but I must just say it, man.
Say it as it is, bro.
I was a colored bra, man. I was a rechte colored bra.
Okay.
And he knew
How it feel?
our people, man. And he knew where to tap into our people to make sure that he can help wherever. Alright? He played a different ball game.
Okay.
He made change. When you wanted the mayor in your city, you would direct mail him and he would pop up in your city. That was Dan Plato. If you wanted a meeting with Dan Plato, you know what? He'll invite you there to the civic and he'll have a meeting with you and he'll listen to you.